those drums?
Listening to our podcast, the Slowpoke Travel podcast. We hope you enjoy our podcast. The podcast starts right now. Slowpoke Travel podcast with Buck and Camera Girl. Ta-da!
Welcome to Slowpoke Travel. I don't know, this is dark.
I don't
It
even know
is
if we're
dark.
going to show up on here, but we'll be able to watch Mexico get darker and darker. I don't know if these mics are going to pick up the sound of that drumming.
Yeah, that's been going on all day.
Yeah, even as darkness falls, we can hear drumming, and if it's still drumming at the end of this conversation, then we might walk back over there and see what's going on. But we first, how did we get up this morning?
We heard drums.
No, we didn't hear drums.
Oh,
we heard
either fireworks or probably
explosions,
cannons.
cohetes. I don't know what they're called,
Yeah.
but it's like cannon fire. It was still dark. It was just becoming dawn. It was like 6 o'clock. It's getting near the end of the day. We just had our dinner. You can still hear them drumming. Oops. I'm trying to get those explosions. I don't know if you can see the smoke in the sky. They're shooting, what are they, cohetes? Cannons? Something.
It's some sort of religious celebration or festival. From dawn till dusk.
But anyway, we got it this morning and heard that. And also, we noticed yesterday that things seemed a little quiet on the streets. So, I don't know, we kind of decided, well, there must be a festival going on today.
Something.
Because soon after, we started hearing this drumming sound.
Oh, and around the square, yes, there was drumming, and we could hear it. What?
Yeah, we heard it here in
What
the
is
house,
it,
just sitting here.
What is it, 8 blocks away? It's not that.
I don't know. I can see the church. It's a ways. It's probably about a 15-minute walk or 10-minute walk to the square. But I mean, you can hear that all over this whole town, I'm sure.
But so then we get to the square, and there are at least 3 sets of huge drums.
There's more than 3 sets.
No, I'm saying there was at least at any given time. I think
yeah, you couldn't escape drums.
Yeah, but they were, loud. And this was outside. It was louder than some concerts I've been to. It was just really loud.
Yeah, I couldn't be around the drums for any amount of time. And the time that I did spend around the drums was painful.
When you were trying to get a little bit of video.
Yeah, I tried to get some video of the drums, and it was nerve-shattering to every nerve in my skull and my ears.
But when we came back from the first time of looking, I tried to look a little bit. The internet can be helpful. And apparently it's a celebration of Christianity, of Jesus coming to the indigenous people. Although it's sort of a murky history. But so there are people going into the church that are dressed modern day, and they're saying 33 prayers today, for each year of Christ.
Oh, was there 33 explosions too, didn't you say, or something?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know about that. I just thought, well, I wonder if they're going to do 33. But I don't remember counting. We started talking. But outside, there were all of these dancers that were representing Mayans and Aztecs and Toltec and all these indigenous people.
Well, there seemed to be some Native Americans too.
Yeah, what in the U.S. we think of as Indians. Yeah. There was, although we didn't see those in the morning, did we?
Not in the morning.
But we saw them in the afternoon.
Sure.
But bottom line is, besides what was going on in this gorgeous church that is here, all around this large square were these dancers. Oh, some of the beadwork, the colors.
It was incredible.
But these headdresses that they could, some of these people, some of the headdresses, there were feathers, there were skulls, there was animal skulls, there were
birds.
There were like eyes on the back. Anyway, these headdresses were so elaborate. But what was even more amazing is most of them, they were at least 18 inches tall. some of them were more like 3 feet tall.
Sure.
And they were on their head, and these dancers were bowing over like at 90 degrees and more and coming back up. I mean, they were moving. And their headdress were staying on. I was like, they're going to have a headache. But basically, found out it was going on that they were dancing from dusk, and it was or from dawn until dusk. Although,
Well, yeah,
as you say, it's
I
still
mean, the
going.
drumming started this morning, and it is still going on right now. We went over there around 11 or noon, and we walked around the square and hung out there this afternoon, and then we went back after dinner, probably around 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they're still going strong. In fact, they were going stronger. There was more dancers, there was more drums, there was just more of everything, more color, more headdresses. It's just a bombardment of sight and sound. And we were there for about an hour, and then we just kind of ran away because
the drums
are
powerful.
Exhausting. It was just, it was a sensory overload. I can't imagine being there all day.
But it was also the athleticism of some of these people.
Oh my God. I was just thinking, this is like the ultimate jazzercise.
Yeah.
I mean, they are going.
They're moving. And some of them, of course, would take a break. And in fact, some of the most surreal pictures, in my head, I didn't get pictures of this, was like there was a woman in this outfit, this indigenous outfit, and it was fierce. And then somebody had brought her little baby. It's dressed in modern day clothes, and she's holding her baby. And of course, it looks like any mama and baby. It was just like, there was a couple of times like that you'd see. And then some of the people with the headdresses that were really scary.
Yeah, there were some very scary ones.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I could see. There was one, like they would bring the children up, and I thought, golly, I would be scared. I mean, I was scared as an adult. One of the scary ones motioned me over, and I was like,
oh, no.
I just pretended I didn't see because I didn't want to go over there and have my soul taken from me.
I'm telling you, some of them they were just so incredible. But some of them were so fierce. Some of them had skulls.
Yeah, lots of skulls. Some of them, lots of cats, like cheetahs and panthers.
Yes, and some of those had like a good taxidermy look. I mean, so they looked fierce. And then there were others that were
like
just
the
skulls.
Pelts and the skins of the cats too.
Oh yes, on
their
backs.
They really look like costumes from some sort of futuristic or post-apocalyptic movie set. I mean, these look like...
Why would you say that rather than in the past? Because that's what they...
Because it seemed scarier. It made me think of like Mad Max and these movies. Or what was that one with... in fact, it takes place in Mexico. Mel Gibson's Apocalypto.
Yeah.
They had some very scary imagery in there.
They did.
And this sort of made me think of that. But then there was a lot of not scary stuff too. I mean, there was a lot of
just
family
vibrant color.
feeling. There was a lot of children participating in the dancing and wearing of the headdresses and the costumes.
And then around their ankles, most of them had like dried nuts or something. So they would shake. They had like rows of these things around their ankles, so that, and you could hear them even beyond the drums.
With the drumming and with the sounds of the costumes moving.
Yes.
It was really, it almost built up a pulsating wavelength in your body. I mean, your whole body would vibrate. I mean, when I was standing near the drums, I mean, I could feel it coming up through the ground and into my chest.
And then you said the one drum was getting so hot it was smoky.
Oh yeah, there was a drum. There were actually, you could smell it, and he was rubbing the top of it with paper or something. And I don't know if the drum was so hot he was trying to keep it from catching fire, but the newspaper, it was smoking from the top, and you could smell the burning. And then there were also different areas where they were burning incense. They would kind of get in a circle around some incense, and they'd be doing their dancing. And it was just magnificent. I mean, we were lucky to be here.
We really were.
To see that. It was so colorful. And
it was amazing. And what was also, the etiquette was I guess I would say fun to watch, because these feathers were huge. Some of them, I know pheasant, and I don't know what on. Some of them were dyed.
I mean, some of these people were like 10 feet, 11 feet tall with their headdresses on.
No. But if somebody lost a feather, you could watch, and another performer would get their feather and give it back to them, and they were thanked. And if somebody lost like 2 or 3, then he or she might take off their headdress and put it back into their hat.
Do you think a lot of these people participating are locals? I
I
mean,
was
they couldn't
reading
come
a little
before. I
bit.
mean, they would have to walk because they couldn't put on these costumes and get into a car.
Well, they could come here beforehand. The little bit I read, if it was true, was they come all over Mexico, from all
really?
over Mexico. But also, didn't you think it was sort of surreal, because sometimes, because it was going on all during the day, is you'd walk around the square and there'd be areas where there would be a performer, or let's say 4 or 5 performers, and they'd taken off their headdresses and they put them on the ground.
Yeah.
But they sort of it was almost like a museum artifact. I mean, they set it up, and people were just, including me, were just sort of, wow, because
Yeah.
the detail, because there was beadwork sometimes, there was stuff that looked like it was made to be all, not antique, but more from a different time. And then there were, you could tell, some costumes that they used more recent techniques. But still were beautiful.
I think that a fella had CDs, like compact discs, on one of his costumes. Like some of the shiny parts, I think, were compact discs.
What are you talking about?
I'm serious, on
I
his
didn't
shoulder.
see that.
I don't know. I don't know if I got it on video or not. But
Oh, I didn't see that.
it was just one fella that I saw.
But those headdresses, it's like, and you'd see them from the front, and some of them they were just so startling. And then they turn around, and you'd realize there was like the all-seeing eye on the back, or there was another skull, or there was something. I mean, the time they put into this.
You think of like the big headdresses on the girls in Las Vegas. I mean, these folks today, they could head to Vegas right now and headline at the Mirage. They could get up on stage and
Oh my gosh,
blow
it was
everybody
amazing.
away. It was just incredible.
But apparently, and this has been going on for over 400 years. Although
And it's still going on right now.
it is still going on right now, and I think some people in the know were going at night to get some different pictures, because I saw people with old-fashioned cameras with lenses
Yeah.
and manual settings.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, there were probably more dancers than tourists. I mean,
Exactly.
but
it was yes.
you could tell. I
Yes.
mean, there was just everybody dressed up in these headdresses and outfits and dancing up a storm, and then everyone else just wandering around in a daze holding their camera.
Or their ears.
Or their ears. Yeah, I had to hold my ears at some point. It was rough on my skull. I can only imagine or hope that a lot of these people had earplugs in. Or when you're young, maybe it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
I mean, when I was
but
young,
it
I didn't
was-
think about that.
But it was magnificent. I mean,
Magnificent.
it was. I mean, if you think about it, think about different parades you've seen, and of course there have been some amazing
Yes.
ones. I mean, New Orleans.
I mean, I
even
lived in
Tampa's
New Orleans
Gasparilla.
for
Gasparilla.
several years when I was right on St. Charles Avenue, where the Mardi Gras parades would go by. I've seen so many Mardi Gras parades. And the Mardi Gras parades are the tippity top. I mean, that
They
is
are.
such a spectacle.
Yes.
But this, I would put on par with that in a different way. It's so much more intimate and
That's what I was going to say
surrounding
was
here.
intimate. Yes.
And it feels less,
commercial.
certainly less commercial. I don't
And they
know. It was
had-
all encompassing.
And they had, I didn't get any good pictures because this was another day where just taking pictures, I just wanted to watch it. I didn't want to.
Exactly.
But
I mean,
they
I tried
had-
to put my camera away as much as possible, but
Well, I think,
Sometimes it
doing
was
something
just
for our moms and
impossible.
stuff. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But they also had some banners that were talking about the different groups that they were. And a couple of times around the square, we did see them. They would try to get around the square. And it was funny when we came back at lunch. I looked and I had it on my list of events, but I didn't have any information. It was one of those things where I'm sure I just sort of burn out with all the things you can see. But
So does this
Yeah.
happen every year in San Miguel at this time?
Yes.
Yeah, I had no idea that it was going to happen today, and I didn't know. We woke up this morning to the sounds of explosions, and it's
it's
really
yeah.
just an incredible sight to behold.
Well, and it's like a lot of history, I think. I mean, here's a town that has gorgeous churches, and this festival centered around this church, and actually, and even the indigenous people dancers were honoring a particular statue that's found in the church. But you know, it was a little murky. There was a couple of Franciscan friars that were apparently trying to come and bring Christianity to the natives, and they didn't quite make it.
No.
But the statue.
Dehydration? You got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, okay. But also.
What was it? What happened to them? Did they trip and fall on the cobblestones?
Yeah, I don't think
easy
they were,
to do.
I don't think there were cobblestones.
A lot of
at the
uneven
time.
steps in this town.
But what was interesting is at some point the statue that had been left on the road was brought into the church, and they altered it with like corn stalks and orchid bulbs, and they put mirrors on the cross to represent this mirrors not just Christians but the indigenous people basically, and they painted the skin darker so that it was a little more amenable to everybody here. It was just interesting to read about the story, you know, because you think, oh, they're celebrating Christianity coming, and of course you see gorgeous churches here, as we have all over Mexico. But you sort of go, oh yeah, that's, you know, not quite that clean a history, but today.
Are you saying that the history of the church has some
Any
dark
church.
episodes?
Yes, has
I
murky
know,
episodes.
Sounds like a pretty controversial take. I can
Now.
hear the drums still going on. Maybe we should
Yes.
pack up and go see it at night.
I think so. I think
Okay.
so. We can put a little cotton in our ears.
Oh, that's a good idea. I think I'll go over there with some cotton.
Because I can't imagine around this square, we keep saying square, you're going to put all the information.
Well, you don't have to know exactly where it is, because
That's
if
true.
you are
If
in
you-
town
On March 1st.
and it's going on, you will find it.
That's true, too. If you're in the colonial part of town.
Yeah, if you're in El Centro, maybe if you're by the mall, but I bet you can. If you're up higher around here, I'm sure the sound travels. I'm sure
it's
there's
amazing.
probably people in Guanajuato right now
They could hear it.
that's sitting
An
outside
hour
going,
away.
what is that drumming sound?
An hour away, that's right. But yeah, that was just, it was amazing. And I agree with you, it had an intimate feel. Which
Oh
there
yeah,
was
because
something,
we were right in it. And if you're in the square, you're surrounded. It made me think of like Indians, like in the old westerns where the Indians are going around the wagon train that's in a circle, and we're like in the center of the square, and this whole wheel of dancing, headdressing, drumming is going around us, and it's just all encompassing, and you are totally wrapped up in this sensory experience, which is just washing over you like a tidal wave and drowning you, and you almost feel suffocated after a while. I mean, we've literally fled the scene because our brains needed a break.
It was amazing. And there's supposed to be some other spectacular festivals here while we're here
I
in
tell
this
you,
city.
I'm looking forward to seeing whatever's coming, because I can't believe that anything will top this, though.
No, not in terms of the vibrancy. I agree with you, but I think there'll be other
But we'll see.
large.
We'll let you know. But that's it. I think we're gonna put cotton in our ears and go see what else is going on.
Well, I bet it'll be that much more magical. The church, we can see it from this terrace, is lit up, and it's a gorgeous church. It looks like upside down icicles. What is it? Stalagmites that are coming from the ground at the top. Some of the spirals are spires.
Well, let's hydrate and head out.
We'll do that. Let's do it.
I'll try to put this podcast together with some imagery that we caught today. And thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. You know, if you like our stuff, I got some links down below that you can check out to different playlists and our Patreon. If you want to buy us a cup of coffee, and some links to Amazon and some travel stuff, house sitting stuff. We're at a house sit right now in Mexico, so it's a great way to travel if you have a lot of flexibility. So definitely check that out, and we'll see you next time on the Slowpoke Travel Podcast. Alrighty, that is it. Click, subscribe, review, share all over the global internet sphere. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time
on the Slowpoke Travel podcast.